Hey everyone, welcome back to the fucking ridiculous podcast. It's episode 53 and I am filming myself the night before. I interviewed Fatty yesterday, so I was really on the right track to get my stuff done early, but alas, everything went sideways and that's okay. So I'm trying a few new things. Number one, I'm going to try some different segments, and Fatty is like the person that I'm trying them out on. I'm trying some new editing techniques. Don't get excited because that doesn't say much for me in my situation. I do have new equipment that I will be learning how to use over the weekend. So hopefully next week it'll look so much better and so much more professional. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't, did she move? Is she in Studio City? No, she's still in Richmond, Virginia. I'm just kidding. But hopefully it'll be that much better. To give you a brief synopsis of what is happening in this episode, I had a lot of questions about Hawaii that I needed answered. And since Fatty's parents live there and she's been there numerous times, I thought she was the great person to ask and have the answers. So I just wanted to share a little bit about it. You will actually get more of that and pictures and places that I loved on the website over the next 2 weeks. And it'll be in the what I'm loving and probably in the travel section of my website. So look forward to that. We wound up discussing like 3 or 4 different types of animals in this particular podcast. And it is ridiculous why we are discussing them, but hopefully you find that somewhat interesting. And if you are an animal hater, you may just want to skip through to the end of the episode because you will learn more and hear more and see more about, not butts, but sorry, about animals. And finally, there have been a few ridiculous things in the news, and I was talking to Fatty about them, but we did not do a good job of being brief. So I'm going to pop in throughout this episode, correct myself for a few things that I didn't get right, which will bug me to no end, and I don't want to misinform. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll see you in a few.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. What happened to you last night?
Took the dog for the evening walk. Oh. What did Maddie discover?
Poop.
A skunk.
Oh, shit.
So we got skunked last night. She got skunked. We discovered it at a neighbor's trash can. Just 2 down the street. Not even in the woods. In a
dead skunk? A
no,
live skunk?
Live. Because she went towards the trash can, and then the next thing I know, she was wearing a little dog light on her collar. And then I see the butt, and I was like, no, man! So that little thing just shot it. I'm going to shoot. What's that song by, It's in Hamilton. I'm going to shoot my shot.
Yes.
It shot its shot.
Yeah.
And boy, did she stink. What was that just happened? What did she just do? Was that
she
like
just
a
went.
ball?
She just
that was
and it's like a her little, what do you call it? The the
dog chain?
Yes, the dog tag, or whatever.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. It clinks against.
Oh, I thought that was coming out of her mouth. That sound.
It could be. It could be. She wakes up in the morning and will.
No.
That sound. That sound.
It's so.
I mean, how many times can a dog poop in one day when they've saved it up? Right now we're up to 5. That's 5 times. 5 times.
5 walks.
I'm going to use walk loosely. She's 8 and she's just a little finicky or a lot finicky, and it's very hot outside. It's 2 houses up, if that. And then she is pulling me back home. That's all. That's it.
It's just the noise underneath the table right now.
It's disgusting. It's so disgusting.
Okay.
I know
it's throwing up under this.
No, the throw up is more.
Truthfully, it's not far from that.
It's just it. I know, but we love her.
Of course we love her, but
it's so bad. But you know how older people when they are trying to clear their throat and they're and they're honking. I feel like that's kind of what maybe happens to dogs too. I don't know.
Well, to wrap up last night, what we did is that, so there's a solution that is, because we've done the tomato juice thing before. And
I don't even know about that.
Well, that's a theory. Don't bother if it ever happens because then it smelled like skunk tomato soup. Don't even bother. Save your money and your time.
What are you supposed to do? Just like
there was a combination of, it was a liquid dishwashing detergent, club soda, peroxide, and water. So I was using the dog shampoo and the dishwashing detergent.
And she let you bathe her.
We were outside by the hose, and I was just scrubbing for a good 20 minutes, and then we got the next round with the blend. It worked.
You leave it on,
for 15 minutes.
It's like the lice treatment.
And it did say don't leave it on too long because it might bleach your dog's hair. And I thought, well, no, that's going to be funny if I end up bleaching my German Shepherd's hair. But
that actually is true, and it reminds me of something, because all of this is proving the fact that my mom knew what the fuck she was talking about when I was growing up, but I was like, that sounds ridiculous, so I did not follow her instructions. She held tight to everything natural is better, you can clean anything with natural stuff, blah, blah, blah. My mom used to, shit you not, it was peroxide, baking soda, not the Dawn, the water or the detergent, the water, and maybe a smidge of ammonia. And she used to make her own bleach to bleach her mustache.
No kidding.
Yes. And she would leave that on, it would crust around, and then she'd wash it off, and she had a blonde mustache.
So it went from dark to white?
It went from like, I guess I never really noticed it until she was already, because I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, bleaching my mustache. And this was before,
waxing them.
Exactly, for sure. And she would not do that.
She wouldn't have waxed.
Oh no, she got herself the Epa lady. I completely understand why people are like, do not stay in Waikiki.
Yeah.
The homeless problem is, is it worse now?
Oh yeah.
Okay. The boys, all 5 boys, well, maybe not the oldest. He's probably hiding from the sun inside on his phone. But the 4 boys are out there with my brother. And there's like a little reef area, that they have. And the beaches are not big
Waikiki
at all
is
there.
No.
So anyway, my brother, who is a giant and not afraid of anything, he says this guy in jeans that are ripped jeans is in the water with them. And he's walking through the water over to where my brother and the boys are. And he's like, hey, man. And my brother's like, he's talking to me like he knows me. And so my brother knows everyone. And so I was like, well, did you know him? And he's like, no. But he's definitely eyeing my watch. What your parents drive? Like what kind of cars?
My mom has a Prius, and my dad has a Toyota, maybe a Ford, I don't know, one of the sedans, like a...
Okay, so they're both in sedans.
Well, a Prius, would you call it Prius?
I would call that like a Matchbox car, actually.
I wouldn't call it a sedan. I mean, it is a 4-door, but it's...
Right, no, it's like a crunched up soda can.
Yeah.
Okay, what color?
It's white.
I knew it. All right.
Here's the other thing with that. It is hard to get cars. You don't get a lot of options.
Okay.
It's not like she special ordered a white.
Okay.
It's like, here are your options. White, we'll get you the navy blue in 19 months. Or you can have the white. It's that, you get nothing.
This is what I needed to know, because there is an exorbitant number of white minivans in Hawaii. On both islands.
Minivans, okay.
We drove 2 white minivans.
Yeah.
And we did not.
Oh, when I go get the car at the airport or a mall or something like that, I mean, there's like, 40 white, and you're just in an ocean of white cars.
Okay, so we send all the leftover white cars to Hawaii because obviously they won't attract the sun as much and blah, blah,
there's
blah,
probably
blah.
a good reason for it, but a little variety doesn't hurt.
when we went to Maui and we pulled in, and luckily, we were waiting, and they said it would just wait, and whatever pulls up, pulls up. So it was like a Christmas day, if you will. We, of course, got a white minivan pulls up, and my brother's like, go ahead and take it. Because we had been in the white minivan at the other island as well, on the other island as well.
It's not conspicuous at all.
No. And they had a black minivan there.
It was
so
a little cooler.
Yeah, for sure. And clearly my brother and his family are cooler.
I didn't know they even made minivans anymore.
They're definitely older. I mean, I see why people have them.
Yeah.
They're great for trips and great for kids. Mm-hmm. But, definitely don't scream.
They're a bit of a cock block. Among other things.
I mean, well, if the 3 teenagers in your car and the wife next to you isn't a cock block, then yes, the white minivan is definitely sealing the deal. Someone in the family was very bothered by me drying suits and workout gears. He was like why are we like the Beverly Hillbillies out here? Nobody else is drying their stuff. And I mean, he was right. Nobody else seemed to be. I was like, well, maybe nobody else is getting wet.
I would have done it.
Maybe nobody else it caters. Maybe nobody else, like everybody else just leaves their wet stuff on the floor like we do at home,
You should have done something else more offensive. So then intentionally, so then you could say, well, at least I'm not doing that anymore.
Pretty sure I did when because he really likes it when I open the door and pee outside when I really have to go, like before we can even get to the beach.
Oh, in the car?
No, not in the car.
What door?
Because I didn't have one of those vases that I talked about.
Yeah, I don't get that. Does it just look like a cup?
It looks like a vase.
Well,
it is a vase.
Well, why pay for that if you can just pee in a cup? How much is the vase?
It's $40.
I need to understand why anyone would buy a vase that you could pee in or put flowers in or whatever when you couldn't just use like that cup right there, which we all have too many of. Why can't I use a fancy Tervis tumbler that's already in my kitchen?
I concur.
I guess I just need to see
trying to be more dignified. I don't know. But I'm
There's
so
really
low
nothing
rent.
dignified about when you have to pee in a car. I mean,
no, there's not. But you learn and you do it. Have you never been? I don't know.
100% I've needed to, but I still don't get the face. I can't. I need to see a picture. Another time, I want you to show me a picture.
I will.
Of it. Like, how big is it?
I don't know, but
because sometimes
it's not even big enough.
It's not big enough.
I know, and you got to go to a second.
And you're like, I got to dump the vase.
I know, and then you can't do that with a moving car.
Super big gulp.
Yeah, or someone from the back has to do it.
Yeah, you got a 48 ouncer. Not enough.
Sometimes, like me,
64.
I mean, I'm a camel when it comes to water drinking.
Don't mean to brag.
It's a gift. Okay, a couple of other things on Hawaii. I saw no peacocks.
Well, they're not native. It's not an indigenous bird, you see.
So your parents specially ordered the peacocks.
Not specially ordered. There were some near my parents' house. There were peacocks there, and somehow they kind of migrated towards my parents' neighborhood because they back up to woods and then mountain. So there were some in the neighborhood, and somebody in that neighborhood.
Is it the whole they fed them and then?
Yeah,
if you feed them, they come.
And then my parents thought that was fun. Well, there was just one for a long time. There was the dude. And then the dude attracted a peahen, and then they kept making babies.
What's a peahen?
That's the lady peacock.
Oh.
There's a peacock.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. This is stuff I never wanted to know, and now I do. So you have a peacock. That's the one with all the feathers, and he does that to attract his mate.
Which is why they say puffing out like a peacock, for dudes
like when you're peacock,
they're
or when a dude peacocks.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So so he peacocks and he shows his feathers and he gets her all interested and she's interested and then they make babies and then
does she not have any?
No,
she has
not like that. No.
Like, are they smaller? Or?
No, she doesn't have the big decorative useless. But they fan those feathers out and then after mating season they drop their feathers. The big long ones. Oh. Those come and go and come and go.
Oh, so it's a bait and switch. I get it.
A little bit.
Now, do they mate for life or are they just sluts?
They do not mate for life. They're, slutty birds, all of them.
All right.
He's and she's. And what's worse is that
what?
Dad will do daughter. I mean, he'll go out. Yeah.
Oh, no. Well,
we should probably edit that part out.
Okay, so far we have discussed skunks, we have discussed dogs, we have discussed peacocks, we have discussed peahens, and I think maybe that's it in the animal department. But you can see where things started going crazy there on the animals. Part of the problem is because Frances is licking her privates, and it is a disgusting sound that I will not record for you because it's that bad. But that was part of what was missing in the audio for you guys on purpose. Just wanted to clarify that, number one. Number two, the segments that I am introducing, the first one is about to come up, and I'm still working on the name, but it's going to be basically like Friday filler. So whenever you're stuck in a conversation and you think to yourself, man, I'm struggling a little bit, I am going to give to you every Friday something that you can take with you in your toolbox to your cocktail parties, your darties, your concerts, your dog walking events, your whatever it is that you're dart throwing, axe throwing. If you're just sitting there and you're like, oh, now I'm going to have to talk to someone that I don't really have a ton in common with and I don't know that well, and my other friends are over there, but I'm cool with that. I'll just try. And that person is not helping you out in the least. This is when you just dig deep and you think, what would Nicole do? And I would start talking about the Filler Friday information. And you can take your pick. This week, you could talk about the peacocks and the peahens and what they do and how slutty they are. Or you can talk about what we're about to talk about right now. So I have a couple of new segments on the show. And one of them is, I'm still working on the title, but it's like Fun Fact Friday or something. It's like Filler Friday. It's like when you're at a party or when you're in a conversation and it comes to a lull and you're like, I got nothing else. This week, this is my fun fact and like factoid that I learned. Okay, did you ever see the movie Tombstone? Val Kilmer's in it and Kurt Russell, I believe. It's
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. My fake domestic partner while I was in Denver, I must have said that, and he said,
You said, I'm your Huckleberry?
I'm your Huckleberry, and for something or other. So he goes, that is actually, everyone thinks that's what it is, but that's not what the word is. It's not Huckleberry. Now, I would like to correct my pronunciation and my understanding of what I'm about to say in this exchange. It is not the word berry. It is the word bearer. It will make sense as you listen, but just every time I say berry, unless it's huckleberry, it means bearer. And then as I was researching my mistake, I went down a rabbit hole of like even more explanation about this entire huckleberry thing. So I have no conclusion for you right now other than the story that is right now. I am your huckleberry. And a huckleberry is like a person who's going to hold your casket when you walk, like what do they call them?
Pallbearer.
Pallbearer, yes. That's what he was saying, I'm your huckleberry. Like,
Are you saying, is it 2 words?
It's a good question. I'll have to look that up. But for those of you who are not watching this and are just listening, I would like to apologize because this is essentially what it's like to have a conversation in my head with myself, because it's back and forth, and half the time you don't know what's going on and you stop what you're doing in the middle of things and then you start something else. But if you are watching this, I do hope you are paying close attention to my facial expressions and my dog noises, because I have been highly entertained by those. We have had some crazy, stupid shit happening in the news. And leading off with crazy, stupid shit would be the twat, as we know, Mr. Twatter himself, and his ridiculous challenges to Zuck. And the cage match was one thing. The next thing that I read about, and I would like to go on record as saying I have at least 5, maybe 3 reputable sources, and I'm 3 that I do think they're still telling the truth because they fact check. But basically, Twat has challenged Zuck to a penis measuring contest. And if we just, each time I think we're at a new, like we're so low we can't go lower, we just did it. We did it. That man may not have someone to bear his child right now, but he is going to continue to keep that penis in the news. So if I were Zuck, I would just say, look, man, you and your AI bullshit, you know what? How do we even make this real? So I would just call it what it is. But that to me is the definition of too much for a Tuesday and too much for anyone right now. Keep it in your pants, please. No one wants to be exposed to that. No one needs to see that. I promise you. In political news, things are heating up. I did get wind that the Disney hater himself likes to eat pudding with his finger. And, well, sometimes I have been known to lick the bowl with my finger, maybe when I'm at home. If you are caught eating pudding as a grown man and you are using your finger to clean the pudding out of the container, are you equipped to be president of the United States? This is just a question. Maybe there's no right answer to it. I'm just thinking out loud here, people. I read about this thing, and I'm not getting the name right, but it's basically like Moderation Monday, where, everyone's just going to kind of slide into Monday. We're going to do as little as possible. And, because they're recovering from the weekend. The weekend was tough. And so now I'm like, okay, wait. So we kick off on Fridays at noon for summer hours. And now we're just sliding into the Monday after the weekend. I am not for a 5-day work week. I'll tell you that one right now. But I am starting to get a little concerned about everybody's coming up with some reason to not work on a certain day. And I don't know. It's very funny to me, but okay. There's also this thing called the dead zone. And the dead zone is the hours between 4 and 6 p.m. during the work week. And that's typically where, if you have to leave work and go pick up kids from school or daycare, or you have to run carpool, that's kind of like a time where stuff's not getting done. And I totally understand exactly why that is, because you can't answer emails while you're driving your car, obviously. And if you're driving your kids, then most likely they can't drive. So unless they can type and dictate, you can dictate to them and have them be your assistant, then clearly you cannot get everything that you need to get done in that dead time zone. So I just wanted to give everyone an alert that if nothing is happening between 4 and 6 nowadays, that's why. It's the dead zone. Finally, I had one last segment that I am super proud of. I think I'm so clever, but it's basically a take on Kill, Marry, Fuck. And they're my own words. And unfortunately, we had run out of time, Fatty and I, so I only got to do one with her. But just take a listen, see what you think. I think that this could have some legs, so that each time I have a guest, or if you guys just want to do it for funsies, you can write in and tell me what your answers are. I would love that too. So take a listen and let me know what you think. Okay, my final segment is, and I'm just trying this. So this is a take on your Kill, Marry, Fuck, okay? Mine is bang, band, like a wedding band, or bury. Andrew Tate, twat, Zuck. Oh.
Oh, that's the dude from Europe. He's that guy. Mm-hmm. No, I want to bury them all.
You got to pick.
I don't want to pick.
You got to.
Fatty don't want to pick.
Fatty. I mean, if I had to do it.
All right, here's what I would do.
Okay.
Bury Andrew Tate. And then I said, I guess I would burn Elon Musk because it's probably going to be some sort of AI situation.
It could be, but let's just hope it's a wham bam. Thank you.
And then Zuckerberg, I guess I'd marry him. He's loaded.
I actually think he's probably somewhat of a nice person.
I don't think so.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Love you. Will you come back?
Of course.
All right. Y'all, it is 12:52 a.m. on Thursday, July 20th. Happy birthday to my late mom. And this should go published in about 5 hours. But for the amount of time that I've put into editing, I'm wondering if I should have just done something different. And so I'll leave you with the quote of the week. I have several things that I am afraid of. And whether they are rational or irrational doesn't even matter. But my fear of regrets, of having regrets, of not doing things, of not saying things, of not being things, definitely overshadows almost all of those fears. So when you are afraid of something, when you are worried that you can't do something, but in the back of your mind, you're like, oh my gosh, this is my one shot, or am I ever going to have this opportunity again? Don't let your fear of doing it win. If you ever have any fear of regret, just do it. Just take the plunge and do it. All right. I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the FR Pod, or at the FR Pod, and Fucking Ridiculous on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, and YouTube. Okay? All right. And remember, it's all going to be fine. Even though apparently Venus is ruining everyone's relationships this week because of what's going on in the astrological world, it's going to be fine. I promise. And if it's not fine today or tonight, it will be fine tomorrow.